Hello viewers, today we are in a world where a number of environmental problems are happening each and every day. The need of the hour is we need to understand, we need to aware about what are the environmental problems. How human is inducing these environmental problems. Climate change is one of those environmental issues, or we can say a global environmental problem. Today, to discuss one of those issues, we are having two experts, Professor Joshin Soki of School of Science, Indira Gandhi National Open University. I welcome you, madam.
Thank you very
much. And Miss Anjali Kumari, this is scholar. So, viewers, we need to relook into how human-induced environmental problem was happen. After looking into that thing, at least we will be able to aware about the exact causes of those issues and how is it possible to limit those issues. Whether we will be able to mitigate it or we will be able to stop it. So, in this context, I would like to request Professor Joshin Soki. Nowadays, we're talking about different level of carbon dioxide presence in the atmosphere. How it is happening?
All of us are aware, if we know and if we are very conscious of that, we find that year by year the temperatures are changing, the climate patterns are changing all over the world. You must be reading in newspapers and seeing in televisions that there are some cyclones and there are some excessive rain, flash floods and flooding, droughts and different natural disasters happening very quickly in a short time. And if you look back, these things were very, very rare. But now you find there is extreme snowfall in some places, there is water scarcity in some places, there is flooding of urban areas, there is different kinds of environmental hazards are happening, and it is posing a lot of challenge to the survival of not only human beings and also the different life forms. If human beings, as you know, we began civilization as hunter and gatherers.
Yes.
And if we see the caves, etc., it has been the nature of human beings to record what the human beings saw. They started making some figures with their hands, whatever materials were there in the caves or wherever they were. So they also depict various kinds of concerns at that time. Similarly, when we come to industrial revolution time, when considerable body of knowledge of science had developed, and the curiosity and the inquisitiveness of human beings wanted them to see what can be done with the help of technology and industrialization. So in that case, it started the rampant use of the natural resources. So now records are available, and some scientific studies have been made that show how the carbon dioxide level from the industrial revolution, that is about 1800 AD to till date, how this carbon dioxide levels have changed. So just to give you 2 or 3 figures, you may see how the difference have changed, the level of carbon dioxide. In 1800, carbon dioxide was 290 ppm, and then in 1988 it became 350, from 290 to 350, and presently it is 430. So you can imagine it has increased from 290 to 430 presently. And applying the scientific tools now by simulations, etc., and computer modelings, etc., the scientists say that very soon in 2030, this level can go up to 450. Okay, now this level is going up to 450. How does it concern us? Carbon dioxide is a molecule. We all know that it traps lots of energy in it. So these are mini heaters. These carbon dioxide molecules are more in the atmosphere, more everywhere, so they will trap more of energy, store energy. So these are there in the atmosphere all over. So they will not let the energy go out, but it will remain inside the whole atmosphere. Exactly. So the whole thing starts getting heated up. So as you know, lots of reactions are taking place. So that affects the metabolism of plants, the physical processes, there is more of evaporation, transpiration, lots of rains, the patterns have changed, lot of energy is there. So this is causing a lot of imbalance in the whole biosphere.
Yes. So how the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is affecting the carbon cycle?
Increased level of carbon dioxide is very dangerous to us, and it is affecting the carbon cycle also, because there is a balance in carbon cycle between sink and source. Sink is where carbon is stored in the different reservoirs in our earth system. But there is imbalance due to the increased level of carbon dioxide. The level of source is increasing and the level of sink is decreasing. And this imbalance causes various climatic effect on our climate, our weather and our air quality. So we have to think about how we have to mitigate this increasing level of carbon dioxide.
Just to put it in a very, descriptive manner, there is something like a balance. You weigh. So when it is both the things are okay. Secretion or emission of carbon dioxide and absorption, when they are there, the balance will be straight. And when this thing one side increases, it will tilt.
What are the major mitigation efforts?
When scientists came to know that our Earth's temperature is increasing from 1.5 to increasing 1 degree greater than pre-industrialization Earth's temperature. So UN has established a UNFCCC, and they started to aware different countries, and they bind the set up a temperature limit that is 1.5 degrees Celsius. And other different mitigation approaches was to go through different CCS approach, that is carbon capture and sequestration. This is a very natural approach in which plants can capture carbon dioxide from environment, from air, and is captured in its biomass by the process of photosynthesis. This is a very natural and safe process. So we have to mitigate the increased level of carbon dioxide by this approach, carbon sequestration. Generally, carbon sequestration are of two types. That is one natural, in which carbon is stored in the plants as a biomass and in soil as soil organic form and soil inorganic form. But as we know that level is increasing day by day, so some man-made approaches is also going to adapt to sequester atmospheric carbon dioxide to control its level.
So lots of geoengineering technologies are being developed and various experimentations are happening. So one way is the natural way, utilizing the process of photosynthesis, that the plants can take in lot of carbon dioxide inside them, and then they can store it for some time and convert it into something very useful for other life forms. So that is one way. So taking that principle in mind, there is lot of planting of plants, afforestation.
Yes.
So nowadays you must be reading in newspapers, all the schools, different resident welfare associations and different organizations are promoting this afforestation or planting of trees in a big way. Not only that, they're going further, they are looking into it that what kind of trees or plants will be suitable for a particular place.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is also very important to take the geology and the geographic parameters into account, the kind of soil, the kind of air available in that place, the temperature, the humidity, etc. Because what the conditions are at the equator may be different from, will be different as you go higher up in the altitude towards the pole. So it may be much cooler, the temperature will be lower, the kinds of plants will be different, and if you go on side the hill, it will be different at the base of the hill and at the top of the hill. Not only the plants, the kinds of the animals residing in that place will also differ. The plants are not alone. In one tree itself, it's a big, it's a world in itself. Many species of birds, insects, animals are residing on that. So if one plant is not there, it is cut by deforestation. So not only we are destroying a source of carbon sequestering, natural source of carbon sequestering or carbon fixation, but we are also depriving or disturbing the whole life forms, the animals, birds supported by the plants. So that is one way, and scientists are trying different ways how carbon dioxide can be taken in. Some, they are putting some filters so that it can be the air can go through that.
Yes, ma'am.
It can, charcoal, etc. It can absorb carbon dioxide. So different, principles are employed, and at the various scales, at industrial scale, at the scale of the homes, like we have air purifiers, etc. Similarly, different levels of air capturing, carbon dioxide capturing is being done on a technological basis.
Climate change mitigation is a demand of current situation, because our air, our environment is getting worse day by day. So we have to adapt different types of mitigation approach. First, reduced emission, that is direct burning of fossil fuel and vehicular emissions, industrial waste, garbage, household effluents. These all are the source of carbon, and this all increase the level of carbon in our atmosphere. So first, reduce emission, plant more and more trees, and we have to create green corridors, green belts in our surroundings, in our city, so that carbon can fix in trees, in plants, as much as so the level of carbon is maintained in our atmosphere. Other, we have to enhance, or we have to explore some new things which can be useful to capture the increased level of carbon dioxide from our atmosphere. These are some mitigation approaches so that we can control the increasing level of global warming, which is harmful for our planet.
Recently, there was a report that carbon dioxide can be put into a liquid form.
Yeah.
Then that liquid can be put under the rocks. So that by that way, a lot of carbon dioxide will go in.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
only the rocks, it can go in the soil, etc. So this geoengineering and personal quest and personal applications are also happening. You imagine anything, put into action, make a system, and see the result.
Very true. There are very vast reservoirs, natural vast reservoirs in our ecosystem. As I have said earlier, and ma'am also said, that carbon exists in the atmosphere, in oceans, soil, rocks, fossil fuels, and living organisms as well. So there are different type of reservoirs, and the carbon is continuously moving through these, within and between these reservoirs. The main reservoirs are atmosphere, that is in our air. Second, which include plants, living organism, and soil. Third, the hydrosphere, that is the vast reservoir, that is oceans. And after that, we have one reservoir, that is lithosphere. These reservoirs, the carbon is continuously moving in these reservoirs, and this reservoir helps to balance the level of carbon in our atmosphere. But due to the unbalancing of carbon cycle by anthropogenic activities, that is due to man-made interference, the balance of these reservoirs is disturbing. So we have to keep these reservoirs intact by stopping the man-made activities.
It may be pertinent to discuss the institutions which are playing a role at the global level to mitigate and make people aware about the problem of carbon dioxide or the carbon gases. So there is something at the United Nations level, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. Under that aegis, UNFCCC is. So maybe some light can be thrown on that. And as before I hand it over to you, another thing is, in our country also there is Ministry of Environment and Forest. So recently, realizing the importance of this very big challenge in face of the whole country and the humanity, the name of the ministry was also changed to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So you can realize how governments are also concerned about that. Maybe you would like to say something about the researches being done all over the world in this area of carbon sequestration and the institutions involved in that.
Madam, if we look into the global efforts of mitigating global climate change, UNFCCC, IPCC, there are different reports are best example what we have seen. And if I'm not wrong, that was in 2007. UNFCCC was given Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
So that is how we are gaining from our human this efforts to mitigate all these things. Not only that, in every university and across the globe, research institutions, they are working on that, studying the different this level of carbon content, local level, and different ecosystem and different technology, like you talk about agroforestry, how we have to do. Not only that, how to capture the carbon, that is one side. Other side, what we can talk is, even if we look into some of the human initiative is, the point here is we need to reduce or we need to change our own lifestyle.
Yes.
Because we are in an environment, we are in a situation where the human are thinking of consumptive lifestyle. From the last, you may say last 1 century, and even in India, if you look into the sudden change in lifestyle is you have seen after 1970s. So that is reason urbanization is one of the key important factors that is directly affecting to the climate change.
Yeah, and I think it's the time to go to renewables.
Yeah.
Like we are using fossil fuels in a big way. So now there is talk of using wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, solar energy.
Yes, ma'am.
So that dimension is also coming up and is being tried. There are some reports that say that Himalayan glaciers are not shrinking. And some journalists are also making the noise that journalists should not portray global warming as a morality tale. There are, it's not a situation is black and white. It is not that something happened, because if you start saying the same thing in the media again and again, we will start believing that. But be a informed and conscious citizen and make your own assessment. Then there are other people also say, who are very environmental conscious, that we should not think that global warming is an obsession. And last and above all, some researchers have shown that the greenhouse theory is not that critical, but everything is happening because of solar activity. So all these kinds of different views are should be taken into account, and also we should not close our eyes to the vast data available with us, and just be an informed person, educated person, and just make your own assessment whether global warming is taking place and what we are doing in that.
Yeah. With this, I would like to say that whatever is happening, we need to understand the global carbon cycle, general and local carbon cycle. In particular, let us try to change our consumptive lifestyle. With these few words, I again thank you, Professor
Thank you very much.
and Ms. Anjali Kumari.
Thank you, sir.